In the islands of Ethiopia, at the dawn of the 20th century, one woman stood between a nation and colonial conquest. Her name was Taytu Betul, and her story is one of strategic brilliance, unwavering courage, and a legacy that helped preserve Ethiopian independence when nearly all of Africa had fallen to European powers. This is the story of an empress who was far more than a royal consort. She was a military strategist, a political mastermind, and a fierce defender of a nation's sovereignty. Born around 1851 into the powerful Yeju dynasty in northern Ethiopia, Taytu Betul was no ordinary noblewoman. Her family had ruled the region of Begemda, and from childhood she was immersed in the complex world of Ethiopian politics and power. Unlike many women of her era, Taytu received an education. She learned to read and write in Ge'ez, the ancient liturgical language of Ethiopia. She studied history, theology, and the art of statecraft. But perhaps more importantly, she learned how power truly worked in the intricate web of Ethiopian nobility. Before becoming empress, Taytu was married and widowed multiple times, each marriage strategically expanding her political influence and network. By the time she met Menelik, the future emperor of Ethiopia, she was already a formidable political operator in her own right. When she married Menelik in 1883, it wasn't just a royal wedding. It was the union of two of the most astute political minds in Ethiopia. In 1889, Menelik ascended to become Emperor of Ethiopia, and Taytu became Empress. But this was not ceremonial rule. From the beginning, Taytu was Menelik's closest advisor, his political partner, and often the steel in his spine when difficult decisions needed to be made. Ethiopia at this time was surrounded by danger. The European powers had carved up Africa in the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, drawing arbitrary lines across the continent with barely a thought for the people who lived there. Only Ethiopia and Liberia remained independent. Italy, having recently unified as a nation, was hungry for colonial prestige. They had established a foothold in Eritrea and were eyeing Ethiopia with imperial ambition. The Italians believed they had secured Ethiopia's submission through the Treaty of Wuchale in 1889, but there was a problem: a deliberate mistranslation. The Italian version claimed Ethiopia was an Italian protectorate. The Amharic version said no such thing. When Menelik discovered this deception, it was Taytu who urged him to reject the treaty entirely. While some advisors counseled caution, Taytu saw clearly: you cannot negotiate with those who deal in bad faith. As tensions with Italy escalated, Empress Taytu didn't just offer advice, she took action. She became instrumental in preparing Ethiopia for the inevitable conflict. Taytu helped organize the logistics of war. She rallied the nobles of Ethiopia, appealing to their pride and their faith. She oversaw the acquisition of modern weapons, matching Italians' Remingtons and Mausers with Ethiopian determination. But perhaps her most crucial contribution was diplomatic. Taytu corresponded with Queen Victoria of Britain, with leaders across Europe, and with other African rulers, building international awareness of Ethiopia's cause and seeking to isolate Italy diplomatically. She also personally commanded her own battalion of soldiers, dressed in traditional warrior garb. She led troops alongside her husband. This was not symbolic. Taytu was present on the battlefield, her forces protecting crucial positions and supply lines. When some Ethiopian nobles wavered, considering accommodation with Italy, it was often Taytu who stiffened their resolve. She reminded them of what was at stake, not just territory, but identity, sovereignty, and the soul of an ancient Christian nation that had never been conquered. On March 1, 1896, the fate of Ethiopia was decided at the Battle of Adwa. The Italian forces, confident in their European weapons and training, marched into the Ethiopian islands, expecting an easy victory. They were met instead by over 100,000 European warriors, armed, organized, and utterly determined. Empress Taytu was there, commanding her own forces, tending to the wounded, and ensuring supply lines remained intact. When water became scarce during the battle, she personally organized water carriers to keep the troops supplied. The battle was fierce and bloody, but by day's end, the result was undeniable. Ethiopia had won a stunning victory. The Italians suffered catastrophic losses, over 7,000 killed, 1,500 injured, and thousands captured. The Battle of Adwa sent shockwaves around the world. An African nation had defeated a European colonial power in open battle. It was a victory that resonated across the colonized world, from Haiti to Harlem, inspiring resistance movements and proving that European military might was not invincible. Taytu had been vindicated. Her refusal to compromise, her preparation, her leadership all had been essential to this historic triumph. After Adwa, Empress Taytu continued to wield significant influence. She founded Addis Ababa, choosing the site and overseeing its early development into Ethiopia's modern capital. She promoted education, supported the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and continued to advise on matters of state. But power in royal court is never permanent. When Menelik suffered a series of strokes beginning in 1906, a power struggle erupted. Taytu fought to maintain influence and protect her vision for Ethiopia, but political forces eventually sidelined her. After Menelik's death in 1913, Taytu withdrew from public life. She spent her final years in quiet contemplation, passing away in 1918. Her contributions were sometimes minimized by those who found a powerful woman threatening, but history has been kinder to her memory than her contemporaries were. Today, Empress Taytu Betul is remembered as one of the great figures of African resistance to colonialism. She was brilliant, uncompromising, and fiercely protective of Ethiopian sovereignty. Her legacy lives on in the independence of Ethiopia, in the pride of African nations that remember Adwa as proof of what resistance could achieve, and in every woman who refuses to be confined by others' expectations of what she can be. Taytu Betul was more than an empress. She was a warrior, a strategist, a nation builder, and a symbol of defiance in an age of conquest. Her story reminds us that history is made not just by those who wear crowns, but by those who have the courage to defend what they believe in, no matter the odds. Thank you for staying to listen so far. This is our story, remembered truthfully.